Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Giant of the Frost. I just noticed, some people had asked me on here a little bit more about the runes and what exactly the runes are. So I thought I would make a video with a very kind of brief explanation on what the runes are that I use for my rune readings, and kind of maybe a little explanation about how the runes are used in comparison to tarot and how they are used for an oracle. So just a very quick history. The runes that I'm using are the Elder Futhark. The Elder Futhark, and all that is essentially an alphabet that was used in ancient Germanic Europe and ancient Scandinavia pre the Viking Age. So this set of runes, the Elder Futhark, were not used by the Vikings, by the Scandinavians or Norse during the Viking era. These predate them by hundreds of years. The Elder Futhark went out of, kind of fell in popularity about 100 years before the age of the Vikings began. And so the people we refer to as the Vikings began to use what they call the Younger Futhark. It has less runes than the Elder Futhark does, and that's what they used during that age. Now, what we know about the runes is that it was the alphabet. It was the way for these Germanic people to be able to write down things. And we have we have rune stones in Scandinavia that mark ceremonial places, and most often like about someone who died and things like that will be written on these rune stones that you can find throughout Norway and Sweden. Now, how that relates to what I do on this channel and reading runestones for oracle or for divination is a little bit unknown. We don't have a lot of written history from that time frame, and what we do know really was written down hundreds of years later in the Elder Edda and sagas written down in Iceland around 12 or 1300. It kind of leaves a little bit of guesswork as to maybe how ancient people use these runes. Now, as I said before, they were an alphabet, but the symbols that they use had significant spiritual symbolism, like the sun, like cattle, like the world tree, the yew tree, things that would have held a spiritual significance to the people who used them. And in some of these old sagas, there are significance given to these runes. The origin story of the runes is, really quickly, is that one of the Norse gods, the Odin, who is the Allfather, hung from the world tree for 9 whole days and nights, and he did this to sacrifice himself to gain the wisdom of the runes, and to give those to the people. And now the people have the power of the runes. So there is a significance spiritually to the runes, but we don't know for sure exactly how they were used in ritual and for divination, if they were used for divination. And according to what I understand, and there's lots of people that you can find, that scholars on this, will know a lot more than me, and even people on YouTube who have done videos on this. But in the 1960s and 70s, there was kind of a New Age, movement. That's where what we call New Age, kind of came into the forefront, and the runes began to be used in a similar fashion as the tarot. So a lot of the rune divination we do now is similar or drawn from the tarot reading, but it is different because each of these runes has a different symbol. We're not reading rune stones. We're reading significant individual runes here that have their own meanings and separate meanings than that of the tarot cards. Some have a connection with wealth. Some have a connection with victory. Some have a connection with like finding yourself kind of in a predicament where you can't move forward. But for the most part, in modern times, they are read very similar to the tarot. So if you come here for a rune reading and you're not quite sure what you're getting, you can think of this being very similar to what you would get in a tarot reading, although they're not the actual tarot cards. I'm reading the runes, although I do tarot readings here as well. So that was just a quick explanation. They do have historical significance. We're pretty sure that they did have a lot of historical spiritual significance, but the way they're used today is probably different than the way they were used then. But I don't think that changes the power or its ability for definition and to be an oracle, be used by an oracle. So I hope that answered some questions. If people, had any questions about what I was doing specifically here, feel free, if you have any other questions about this, to leave a comment below. Leave a comment, any questions you have, or maybe some information that that you want to place down there. Feel free. I love to have conversations with this stuff with people. So feel free to leave any suggestions. I have more runestone readings coming. They will be coming at least weekly. We will have twin flame readings coming again for August very shortly. So we will have a whole bunch more twin flame readings coming up very shortly. I want to thank everyone who has been coming by and checking out the channel. We love having you here. So until next time, everyone, take care.